Congressman Jim Jordan is pushing the pause button on his bid to be the next Speaker of the House. Sources tell CNN Jordan will not hold a third vote today on the speakership, but he's not dropping out.
Yeah, an interesting wrinkle in all of this. House Republicans obviously have been bitterly divided over the issue of Speaker. Moderates have refused to back the ultra-conservative Jordan. And now sources tell CNN he's leaning toward backing the interim Speaker, Patrick McHenry, as a temporary fix until potentially as late as January. Meantime, he will keep in the race for Speaker. Melanie Zanona joins us now live from Capitol Hill. And Melanie, why is Jordan staying in the race if he's losing support? And what are the holdouts saying about this plan?
Well, Jim Jordan thinks he has a new strategy that could eventually get him to the speakership. The new idea right now, I'm told, is that Jim Jordan is going to get behind this resolution to temporarily empower interim Speaker Patrick McHenry until January. Right now, he can only oversee floor votes related to the speaker's race. He cannot move legislation. And Jordan thinks that this will give him more time to really build support for his speakership bid. But there are a lot of risks to this plan. First of all, it is very unclear that that's going to win over any holdouts. I talked to one of them, Mario Diaz-Balart. He said this does nothing to change his mind about a Jim Jordan speakership. And then the other risk for Jordan is that this is already sparking fierce pushback from members of his own party, conservative members who had been backing him for Speaker. They say they do not like the plan of empowering Speaker McHenry. I caught up with some of them earlier today. Let's take a listen to what they said.
It's absurd. It's the biggest FU to Republican voters I've ever seen. It's a big mistake. It's a big mistake.
How many Republicans?
And over half the Republicans in that room are against it.
I don't think it's the right way. The speaker drama is not going to go away with extra time.
I don't know why this is happening, so I'm very disappointed.
Oh, hell no. No. Hades, no. We're elected to lead, not kick the can down the road.
Now, I'm told Republicans are still meeting behind closed doors, but this meeting got very heated, according to sources in the room. At one point, there was a confrontation involving Matt Gaetz and another member who started swearing at him, saying this is all your fault. There was also members, including Jordan supporters, who got up and said this is a self-serving move for Jordan, that he should get out of the race. So things are very heated right now, very emotional. And so it's unclear whether there is a path forward for this resolution, whether Jordan is going to stick by it. The other wrinkle here is that it's going to take some Democratic votes to put up this resolution. They had their own meeting this morning, still weighing their options, but at this point, it looks like this might be the only potential viable option to end the chaos and reopen the House, and even that is looking like it's on thin ice at this point, guys.
We have breaking news on Capitol Hill. This chaotic fight that we have watched between House Republicans over this new speaker situation, it's even uglier now, if you can imagine that. There's been this heated GOP conference meeting underway. It's happening right now, and we are learning that members, they are swearing at each other, they are shouting at each other. In the case of Matt Gaetz, refusing to sit down after former House Speaker McCarthy told him to do just that.
Yeah, a fellow Republican apparently pointing directly at him and saying this is all your fault for his filing the motion to vacate McCarthy as Speaker. Let's take you back to Capitol Hill with Melanie Zanona. So Melanie, what's happening now?
Yeah, well, Republicans are still meeting behind closed doors in that conference meeting, which I'm told has grown incredibly heated and emotional. And we've seen a lot of these conference meetings over these past 2 weeks as Republicans are faced with this deepening leadership crisis and have been unable to get themselves out of this impasse, and they are plunged further into chaos. And it's hard to imagine things getting worse, but that's where we're at right now, guys, because I'm told that during this meeting there was that confrontation that you mentioned, Boris, between Matt Gaetz and Kevin McCarthy. Matt Gaetz stood up, went towards the microphones. McCarthy told him to sit down. Gaetz refused, and then another member, Congressman Mike Bost, got up and started swearing at Gaetz, saying this is all your fault. So things got really emotional there, but it didn't just end there. There was also multiple Republicans who stood up, including some people who were backing Jim Jordan, who said that he should get out of the speaker's race, calling on him to step down, asking why he should still be their speaker designee. Jim Jordan is, of course, still in the race, has refused to step down, even though he does not have the votes, and canceled a planned floor vote on a third speaker ballot day. And then something else that has come up, guys, which is, again, just speaking to the tensity and emotions and frustrations, there have been a number of the Jordan holdouts who have been receiving death threats, menacing messages, angry phone calls to their offices. There's been several members who've said they have received death threats over their vote. So that came up in the meeting. Jim Jordan, of course, has denounced those threats and said he is not involved in any of these sort of outside pressure campaign tactics that have been deployed by some conservative leaders and conservative media figures. But it all just speaks to just how tense things are inside the GOP as they still scramble to come up with a solution here.
Yeah, look, it's awful. It's ridiculous. When it comes to Jim Jordan and this idea of empowering the Speaker pro tem, this sort of acting Speaker, McHenry, where is Jim Jordan on that vote?
Well, he's gone back and forth. So initially, he was adamantly against that idea. He was telling his supporters to vote against it yesterday when it looked like it might come up for a vote. Then this morning, we were hearing that Jim Jordan had a new plan, that he was going to be getting behind that resolution. The idea being that if they can temporarily empower a speaker until maybe January, that it takes away the chaos of a speakerless House and it gives Jim Jordan more time to build support for his speakership bid, which he's clearly lacking right now. But the problem is, his own conservative members are fiercely against that idea. He was getting pushback in the meeting against that idea. Some of them came out of the meeting and were telling us similar things. Jim Banks, for example, said this was be the, quote, biggest FU to Republican voters if they moved ahead with that plan. So it's very unclear, Brianna and Boris, at this point, whether Jim Jordan is still going to come out of that meeting supporting this resolution. And even if he did, it's unclear whether it would have the votes to pass. They would clearly need some Democratic votes to help get it over the finish line. Democrats had their own meeting today, but they said they have not made any decisions or kind of in a wait and see mode right now. So very unclear. It looked like this morning we might have had a viable path, an option out of this chaos, but now that's looking less and less certain.